The war in Ukraine continues. The situation on the ground remains tense. Both Ukrainian and Russian forces are engaged in fierce fighting. The outcome of the conflict remains uncertain. This report will provide an update on the latest developments in this ongoing war. The conflict has entered a critical phase. Russia is attempting to regain lost ground. Ukraine is determined to defend its territory. The international community is watching closely. The stakes are high for all parties involved. The situation in Kursk Oblast is particularly concerning. Russian forces have significantly increased their presence there. This suggests a major offensive may be imminent. Ukrainian forces are preparing for a prolonged battle. The human cost of the conflict continues to rise. Thousands of civilians have been killed or injured. Millions have been displaced from their homes. The war has had a devastating impact on the Ukrainian economy. Russia is pouring troops into Kursk Oblast. The region has become a focal point of the conflict. Estimates suggest there are now 30,000 to 45,000 Russian troops in the area. This represents a threefold increase from previous levels. The buildup is a clear sign of Russia's intentions. Moscow is determined to regain control of the region. It is likely that a major offensive is being planned. Ukrainian forces are bracing themselves for a fierce fight. Amidst the military escalation, there have been some glimmers of hope. A prisoner exchange took place on September 14th. A total of 103 prisoners were swapped. This was a rare humanitarian gesture in the midst of the fighting. However, concerns remain about the treatment of prisoners on both sides. There have been allegations of torture and mistreatment. International observers have called for greater transparency and accountability. Russia has launched a counteroffensive in Kursk Oblast. The goal is to reclaim territory lost to Ukrainian forces. However, progress has been limited so far. Russian forces have encountered stiff resistance. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has acknowledged the counteroffensive. However, he has downplayed its significance. He insists that Ukrainian forces are holding their ground. He has vowed to liberate all Ukrainian territory occupied by Russia. The US estimates that Russia would need at least 50,000 troops to dislodge Ukrainian forces from Kursk. This suggests that the fighting could drag on for months. It is unclear which side has the upper hand at this stage. The outcome of the battle for Kursk could have major implications for the war. A Russian victory would be a significant blow to Ukraine. It would also give Russia a stronger negotiating position. A Ukrainian victory, on the other hand, would be a major morale boost. Section 4. Global concerns and diplomatic maneuvers. The conflict in Ukraine has sent shockwaves around the world. It has raised fears of a wider conflict between Russia and the West. International leaders are scrambling to find a diplomatic solution. The White House has expressed concern about reports that Iran and North Korea are supplying weapons to Russia. This could escalate the conflict and draw in other countries. The US has warned of serious consequences if such support continues. Ukrainian President Zelensky has called on the international community to provide more assistance. He has specifically requested air defense systems. He has specifically requested long-range weapons. He argues that these are essential to counter Russia's military superiority. Diplomatic efforts are ongoing, but progress has been slow. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer recently met with US President Joe Biden to discuss the conflict. However, no major breakthroughs were announced. Section 5. Military strategies and adaptations on the ground. Both sides are constantly adapting their military strategies. They are seeking any advantage they can find on the battlefield. The conflict has become a war of attrition. Russia is reportedly increasingly relying on youth from occupied territories in Ukraine for military service. This raises concerns about human rights violations. It also suggests that Russia may be facing manpower shortages. Interestingly, there are reports that Russia is repurposing captured Ukrainian military equipment. This highlights the resourcefulness of both sides in this conflict. They are using whatever they can get their hands on. The situation on the ground remains fluid. It is impossible to predict how the conflict will unfold in the coming weeks and months. However, one thing is certain: the war will have a lasting impact on Ukraine, Russia, and the world. Section 6. A fluid battlefield with global implications. The conflict in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The international community must continue to seek a peaceful resolution. The situation on the ground is constantly changing. Neither side has a clear advantage. The outcome of the conflict remains highly uncertain. The world is watching anxiously. The war has already had a profound impact on global affairs. It has heightened tensions between Russia and the West. It has also led to a reassessment of European security. The full implications of the conflict are yet to be seen. One thing is clear: the world will never be the same. The war in Ukraine is a watershed moment in history. It will shape the international order for years to come. Please take a moment to subscribe. Thank you for your time and see you next time.